This is a video for Hefeltbad. I just responded to your video about when to bug out. I've found a resource that I'm going to put the URL in the About section. It covers the whole United States, Puerto Rico, Alaska, you name it. About prevailing wind current speeds, categories. It's a very comprehensive list. You're in a category 2 zone, which is really low. Plus you've got the Rockies there that are blocking a lot of stuff, and it would make the air currents go up higher. On an average, they're basing their assumptions on around 164 foot level. Like I said in the earlier one, I would start getting your children used to walks in the woods, identifying plants, what they're good for. And as far as an indicator, the more rhetoric they talk about this stuff, the closer it becomes to a reality. We've seen this before in their actions, such as 9/11. And the more frequently they talk about it, the shorter the day is for it to happen. That is where you need to take your clue. That is where you need to decide, okay, I've heard enough, and I'm almost out of time, so I need to do it now. Your position is different than mine. Yours is by choice. Mine is not by choice for me leaving now. It's out of my hands, as I don't want to be around if anything nasty were to happen here due to my relationship. What I feel is deteriorating. As I've said before, anybody that speaks contemptuously to you cannot say they love you. How can you have contempt for someone and yet love them? I don't know. Maybe I'm too simple of a man in some respects. I'm very ignorant as far as interpersonal skills and relationships. So I'm not the one to really ask or even to say anything about it other than my perception of it, which is probably wrong by anybody's standard, but that's what happens when you ask a broken glass to describe itself. I don't know what kind of a shelter you're going to want to have. That would be critical to knowing when you need to get started, because you're going to have time to build it or dig it or whatever it is you're going to use. You need to be close to a water supply, preferably one that has been underground and you're in an area where it first comes to the surface. That would minimize any radioactive contamination in it. I don't know of any way to remove radiation from anything. The half-life is 50,000 years. Well, I don't have time to bottle up some water and wait for 50,000 years for it to be safe to drink. There are means to purify all the other aspects of organisms or microorganisms within the water. If nothing else, you could make a still type device, and the steam would condense and go into the next chamber. And in that next chamber, I would create a basket with charcoal and sand if I'm not able to buy anything. And that's my situation. I'm too poor, so I'm going to have just the minimum of what I can afford to have that I don't want to make out of stone. Yes, I know how to chip stone. You have to have certain stone to do it with. It's got a good edge. You can cut yourself real easy with them if you're not careful. If there's any other information you want besides wind speeds and about how to gauge when to go. Like I say, you need to start now. You really do, brother. You need to start now to get your affairs in order. Mine, I have no choice. Because once I leave here, due to my credit history, I'm never going to be able to get anywhere to live that I pay rent. That door is closed to me. So once I leave here, I'm going to be homeless for the rest of my life. So I choose to, instead of living in the city and going to shelters and soup kitchens, I find I would have far more dignity and pride in going out and living within my natural habitat that we should all be living in anyway. I will continue to try to build my list on skills. I'm having a hard time finding content that's viable, that isn't just some pap, somebody just to be on video. Some of them, yes, they offer the basic guidelines of it, but it's rough. They don't know enough themselves to make the videos properly. I wish I had a camcorder a video recorder right now, and was wearing my leg, and I would go out and I would show you how to make all these things you're going to need to know how to do. So if nothing is happening by next month, see, I'm at the point where I'm just going to blow off whatever these doctors have to say, and I'm going to make myself get in my leg. And if my skin graft breaks where I had the third-degree burn on that skin graft, well, it'll reheal itself and scar up. And if that scar tissue breaks, then I'll pee on my leg as I did in the Marines when I got blisters on my feet. Toughens your skin up. I know it's nasty to even think about, let alone do, but it actually does work. That sounds kind of funny, peeing in my leg. Also, you need to consider your soil for growing your crops. You need to get heritage or heirloom seeds only. You do not have just what is offered on the internet. You can go to any farmer's market, even some stores. You need to look for packages that do not say hybrid. Preferably, you need to look for ones that say heritage or heirloom seeds. And when you plant them, you need to do a reconnaissance on your surrounding area and see if there's anybody growing crops of corn, because you're going to need your corn to replant the next year. And you don't need it contaminated by the spore, the pollen from these genetically modified monsters that they're making us eat, which cause liver and kidney damage and death. I've got the name of 3 of those Monsanto seeds. I'll dig them up, and I don't know what good it would be doing for posting it, because they don't label on the packages what strain it is that is in your food. But just be aware there are 3 of them, and that's enough to be concerned about. So like I said, brother, I'll continue to scout for material and put it in my skills list. I really would like to see somebody catch something to eat and show the whole process of how to skin and clean the animal, as I haven't seen that yet. I don't know, maybe YouTube won't allow that content on their channel. Um, and if I can't find that content, you need to speak with some of your neighbors who have done it before. It's pretty straightforward, really. Um, you want to be careful where your shot goes too, because if your shot goes into the stomach area, then you've contaminated that meat. Don't eat it. It's infected with fecal matter. I'll talk to you in a little bit.